quickly, before I take my seat, let me just give you a shot of today's topic. Indices of growth. 2 Peter chapter 1, verses 5 to 8. I don't know what angle the woman of God wants to come from to attack this topic, but I decided that I should just drop this one for you. For this very reason, applying your diligence to the divine promises, make every effort in exercising your faith to develop moral excellence, and in moral excellence, knowledge, insight, understanding. And in your knowledge, self-control, and in your self-control, steadfastness, and in your steadfastness, godliness. And in your godliness, brotherly affection, and in your brotherly affection, develop Christian love. That is, learn to unselfishly seek the best for others and to do things for their benefit. For as these qualities are yours and are increasing in you as you grow towards spiritual maturity, they will keep you from being useless and unproductive in regard to the true knowledge and greater understanding of our Lord Jesus Christ. Growth does not end in the faith. So I just want to bring up 3 things you are going to look out for if you are growing. They may not sound like what you're expecting. And in case you feel you don't need them now, just write them. You may need them someday. If I am growing, these 3 things I'm about to mention, they will manifest themselves in my life. If you are growing, they will manifest themselves in your life. Number 1, the consciousness to reduce the amount of noise that emanates from you. When you start growing, you will start becoming more aware of your environment, people around you. You start becoming more conscious of not becoming a stumbling block with noise. When I was a younger believer, I used to think that if I enter anywhere, I should start playing the messages that used to bless me, play in my phone very loud, so that everybody in the environment will also get blessed. Even though it's maybe a classroom or an office setting or a market setting. In my house those days, if I'm playing a sermon, I loud it very well so that all my neighbors will be hearing it. But I got to find out as I started growing that those things are rather the reasons why they may not hear me tomorrow when I need to preach them. Be gentle as doves, as serpents. In fact, the way Jesus designed us to evangelize our generation, when you are coming into a place for the first time, they should not know who you are yet. Not because you are hiding your identity as a Christ, but don't be a loud Christian. That's what I'm trying to say. You come in like yeast. Know that parable of the yeast? They didn't notice you when you came into the environment. But after 3 months, they just discovered that you have won 10 souls in that office and you made all of them disciples. But let's say they just gave you an employment on a job. And the first day you were resuming at work, just came in, blasting in tongues. I take authority over this office. I came in the name of the Lord to take charge of what belongs to me. Hallelujah. Some people just close their hearts. Say, oh, we have a pastor now. From that point, anything you do, they're looking for a reason to say, pastor has done something wrong. So I want to drop my quote of the month. It talks about right use of earpiece when you are enjoying yourself with kingdom contents. My quote of the month: engage your earpiece regularly. It is a healthy way to use smartphone. I know most of you don't have earpiece. So you believe that when you're playing gospel music that is blessing you, all your neighbors loud so that all your neighbors will be hearing it. All your roommates will be hearing it, those of you in the hostels. And you think you are doing God a favor. If only you can get feedback from your neighbors around you and people around you, let them tell you what aspects of you need to improve upon. You just discover how you've been offending people with loud noise everywhere. So as you start maturing, you will see, even in my house, me and my wife in the bedroom, I use earpiece. I know this will shock you. I don't want what I'm enjoying on my phone to disturb my wife, particularly when she's about to go to bed. Because I've grown with this consciousness. Even my children, I don't want to disturb them with what I'm watching on my phone. Before, I used to always be in a hurry to put phone on speaker when I want to answer a call. But suddenly it dawned on me that I could be disturbing people all the time. I don't notice I was almost becoming addicted to putting phone on speaker all the time. And that's a major deficiency for you. Some discussions should not be heard by somebody next to you. Must everybody hear who is talking with you on phone? Must people know that you are on call? Must hear the voice of the person on the other side of the phone? So please, young people, I charge you as you leave this meeting today, go and buy an earpiece and learn to use earpiece well when you are listening to content from your smartphone. Number 2, the awareness that being domestic increases your rating before men and the value you add to their lives. Philippians chapter 2 verses 3-4. So let not every man think upon the things, your own things, but look onto the interest of others. If you have a roommate, even if you are the one that paid for the house, you have a roommate and you left the roommate to always do the chores, you are not yet mature. You are not grown. Listen, if you are hosting people in an accommodation and your neighbors get to know who actually is paying the rent, something is wrong with you. If all your neighbors got to know with the way you're always ordering your roommates up and down to do things for you, go to the market, buy things, wash plates, you don't get involved in chores, and everybody in the compound knows you are actually the one who paid for this rent and you are hosting them, something is wrong with you. When you start maturing, you soon realize that when you enter a new environment, one of the best ways to be relevant to everybody in that environment, in a house where you were hosted, whether 1 day, 2 days, 1 week, is to get domestic. When you get domestic and wake up early in the morning to do domestic work, you will reduce the burden on everybody in that house. It is not a wise thing that you are staying with roommates and you wake up and go for a 6 or 7 o'clock lecture without doing at least one chore at home. When you start maturing, that's one aspect of you that you start becoming conscious of. You will not allow a day to finish until you've added value to the people in your house by doing one domestic activity. Either washing of plates, sweeping the house, cleaning of dusting the surfaces, cobwebbing, laundry, filling the containers with water, going to the market, cooking. When you start growing, you start becoming more conscious of the fact that people are with me. They will benefit more from me if I am domestic. This is the consciousness with which I entered wedding. I entered marriage. So me and my wife are domestic. As she's doing, I am doing. And right now, all our children, except this one that is just less than a year, they have all been domesticated. We all do chores together now. So in 11 years of marriage, you've not had cause to live with a house help. Because husband is domestic, wife is domestic. When you start becoming mature, you start realizing that one of the best ways you can be a blessing to people around you, your rating before men will improve and increase when you are domestic. Many years ago, I ran a teaching like this on campus. I used to hold leadership meetings at Benue State University. And a fellowship leader, a top fellowship leader who used to attend the meetings, came and shared his testimony. He said he was staying with his uncle's wife. All of a sudden, initially when he got to the house, all was well with them. They were relating fine. After a while, the uncle's wife became hostile to him. Started becoming hostile. The environment in the house became very hostile. He said, so when he started coming for the leadership meetings, hearing this, my teachings, don't just leave any house where you are staying like that. If you are staying with a couple, married people, do something for them before you pick your things and start coming for lecture. You'll be very valuable in that house. He said, hi. He said, oh, I must have been very foolish. He got back to the house. Early in the morning before he comes to work, he will find some chores to do. He said, I came to testify today that the situation has changed and turned around. My uncle's wife is not only relating fine with me now, she has increased the volume of food that she gives to me. So some of the ill favor that you are suffering from is not demonic oppression like some people just testified. Your own is foolishness. Your own foolishness. A grown-up lady is living with a couple. 6 a.m., 7 a.m., the woman is waking up to dress her children to go to school. You are snoring on your bed. Foolishness. A young man, full adult, you're living with somebody in the house, whether it's your father or uncle or a distant relative. The man has the car. You allow him wake up to wash his car. You are sleeping. 6, 7 a.m., the man is washing his car, and he's the one feeding you and accommodating you in that house. Foolishness. And I see that foolishness in this generation. That's why young singles will visit a married couple, young couple with 2, 3 children. You see that they don't have probably any help. The woman is in the kitchen trying to sort out something. Children are crying. You didn't go to meet the woman in the kitchen. Is there anything I can do to help before I go? People don't have that consciousness because you're still immature. And that's one of the best ways to even connect your marital bliss. When you start maturing, you start becoming conscious. When you enter in place, you start looking for how can I better. Okay, there's cobweb. Let me remove this cobweb. Let me sweep. You start becoming more conscious of being domestic. Then finally, number 3. The understanding that people's background and exposure influences their present behavior. The understanding that people's background and exposure influences their present behavior. Paul said he has learned to mingle with all categories of persons. Some of you came from a background where you were treated a particular way, and you have allowed it to affect you. But when you start maturing, you realize that some other persons you are going to meet came from a background that has an opposite upbringing. So you don't insist that you must always have your way in the interest of peace. Provided the level of compromise you are bringing on the table is not a sin, you must learn to make adjustments to accommodate other people who are not from your kind of background. Can I say this? When you meet a roommate, you love sleeping with light off. She loves sleeping with light on. If he's trying to bring a problem, the person who is more mature is the one that will say, okay, let your own stay. I love to have light off, but since you cannot cope with that, let us sleep with light on. That mature person will see it as an opportunity to say, okay, let me learn how to sleep with light on. Because I may find myself somewhere one day where I cannot escape this situation. That's how mature people think. Not to start insisting, I'm older than you. You must listen to me. My own that must work. The understanding that the reason why some people behave the way they behave, they have an experience that you may not be aware of. Have you been in a situation before where you were rushing on a journey to catch up with an appointment? Then you enter the car and the driver was moving like centipede on the road. Long distance journey, he was moving. Even commercial town service buses were overtaking him. Okada were overtaking him. You talk the first time, you're trying to be calm, say, driver, please, can you move? He didn't answer you, you're just moving like millipede and centipede. Bike will overtake, even bicycle was almost overtaking him. When I find myself in that kind of situation, I'll start asking myself, what is influencing this man this way? Before I shout. Then if you bother to now ask, you now realize, say, one day I was going on a journey. 3 of my friends were on a convoy. I said we should go on 80 kilometers per hour. They say no. They started going on 100, 120. They had an accident. They entered on that trailer. All of them died. After that day, I told myself that whatever happens, I will never go above 80. It is better to reach late and meet my family than to die on the road. By the time you hear that kind of story, will you be able to talk again? So I have learned to make excuses for people before I complain. Somebody's background. Brother, if you see a sister that says she doesn't visit, you invited sister to come and visit, I can't visit you. Don't be in a hurry to conclude that she's too holy. You don't know what she suffered the last time she visited a brother in his house. I used to have some brothers, some friends. They don't hug sisters. And I had to make room for them. Their brothers, like they hug sisters, they'll not be able to sleep that night. So you that you're hugging sisters and nothing happens to you, don't start looking at them as too holy. And you that your conviction does not allow you to hug sisters. The one who his conviction allows him to hug because he doesn't have any side effect. Don't start looking at that one as too carnal. Make provision. Somebody say, I don't like being shouted upon. My father doesn't shout at me. My elder brother, they don't shout at me. Now, that's why God placed you under a boss now who can balance your life. It's all about balance. Before you complain that man shouts too much, this is always too much. You may just find out that he has tried every other leadership style. It didn't work for him. It's the shouting that gives him results. So he's not willing to change for your sake. As I round off, I want to alert you. 3 questions you should not ask any human being in this life. Number 1, when are you buying your car? This one is common with sisters. Even as a joke, don't be asking brothers, when are you getting your ride? It may be coming as a joke, but brothers read meanings into these things plenty. And news can circulate that, one brother go meet the brother and say, I'm considering that sister. Say, eh? That sister where they harass us, they want to buy a car. They want to go marry. Number 2, when are you getting married? So that's A, B, and C. Listen to me. Whatever you don't have the power to provide in the life of another human being, don't harass them with it. Write it down. All of you write it down. This is my wisdom tip for this evening. Whatever you don't have the power to provide in the life of another human being, don't harass them with that question. So if I ask you, when are you buying your car? Maybe that means I'm already thinking of buying the car for you. So when you say, I've been trusting God for it since 2017, I say, all right, see me in my office next week. And when the person comes, I hand him over a car key. That justifies the question. If you're asking somebody, when are you getting married? Let it be that probably you have somebody you want to recommend. When are we coming to eat your wedding rice? And these questions are very popular during wedding occasions. After we've danced and escorted the bride out of church service, so I'm going for order of photographs. You see some people harassing some people there. When are we coming to eat your wedding rice? When is your turn? These questions have made some people have stopped attending weddings. Can you manufacture their husband? Let us not be asking people questions that will push them into the hands of wrong people. Then now, or you see a young man with a sister. Is she the one we have been waiting for, or should we expect another? A brother and a sister cannot have an innocent relationship again. Your own mind, anytime brother and sister are seen together, is husband and wife things. And then the 3rd category of questions. For those who get married, those are the people that are facing this. You meet the man 1 year after marriage. So your wife started vomiting. In fact, 3 months, 4 months. So your wife started vomiting. Do you want to provide? Can you manufacture children for them? Or they will meet the wife. Have you started vomiting? Or they say, it don't enter. As long as it's not your power to provide a child, stop asking people those questions. Or when they eventually give birth, you want to know whether it's a boy or a girl. It's not your power to decide all those things. Why not just keep short? These things put people under pressure. I hope you have learned something tonight. This thing I just taught now is deliverance for many. Deliverance is not only when people come under anointing. I just did some mental deliverance for some people. Some people have just been delivered from foolishness.